All right, hello everybody.
Hi guys.
Hi, welcome to So Far So Good live at home series, and thank you for tuning in with PropertyLimBrothers live show. And today I have my co-host with me, Beatrice Lim. Hi, Beatrice, how are you?
Hi Melvin. Good. Thanks.
Do you want to explain a little bit about the Lim thing, because there's really a lot of people talking about it, and they're saying that we only have teammates that belongs to the same surname Lim coming on board with
That's
PLB
true.
team.
That's true. We do have a lot of limbs, but no, we're not related.
So yeah, you are the number one limb already in PLB team.
I think I'm the fourth. I think I'm the fourth limb.
Yeah, fourth out of 23, right? So that's we're not really biased on any surname, right?
No, 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 no. It's still very democratic.
All right, great. And today we have a very special guest, um, Felicia Koh, and in a while's time she'll be coming on board with us. And today we're going to talk about everything about home styling. We hope to cover as much as we can, but it's a huge topic. You can call it home staging, you can call it home dressing or home styling, different kind of connotations in different parts of the world. But maybe for the sake of our audience, Beatrice, why don't you give a very, very brief introduction about yourself? Just a 1 minute introduction.
Uh, 1 minute introduction.
Yeah.
So I'm a listing specialist with PLV. Just joined in January this year,
Right.
and yeah, it's been a lot of fun learning about the real estate market. And yeah.
Great. And Beatrice has appeared in a couple of our home tours as well. So if you're not seen, do head on to our YouTube channel. Just click on our home tour series. And for those of you who are also interested in the topic of home staging, we have an entire playlist on our YouTube where we showcase all the properties that we have sold and currently selling as well that have been done up with home dressing. So Beatrice and I later we're going to chat with Felicia, going to ask her some questions and also very deep questions about home staging. So a brief introduction about Felicia. So she has been in the design industry for 25 years, and she currently runs her design firm Gallery278, and they specialize in helping developers as well as companies or even residential clients to do home staging, home furnishing kind of advice. They do everything from space planning, window treatment, interior design, as well as furniture planning. So Felicia is an expert and principal designer in when it comes to styling tips and dealing with colors and furniture placement and stuff like that. So it's great to have her on our podcast today. And tune in with us. Do tell your friends to come on stream. This will be probably about 1 hour, 1 hour 15 minute session. So we hope that you get as much out of this session as well. And at the last portion, we're going to have our Q&A. So do feel free to ask any questions on our Facebook and YouTube platform. And we're also on Instagram live right now. It's just that if you want to ask any questions, you got to head on to Facebook and YouTube to key in the live comments. So why don't we have Felicia on board? Beatrice, what do you think?
Yep, let's bring her in.
All right.
Hello, good morning.
Hi
Hi, Felicia.
Felicia.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Right.
Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Yeah, it's good to have you with us. Why don't you share with us a little bit about what do you do? I've given a brief introduction. I'm not sure whether that's the whole intro. Whether is it 100% correct? So why don't you share with us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, I'm very fortunate to be able to pursue my passion. It's a dream job. I'm excited coming to work every day. Um, I started off as an interior designer, but back in the 1980s, it was really tough trying to sell the concept of upcycling, recycling wood.
Mm,
So it was by chance when that part of the business is not doing very well that few friends who are property agents like yourself, so um, they said there are a lot of empty units. Why don't you put your beautiful creation into those homes and try to market it for you? So that's how it started 2.5 decades ago.
Right. So that was
Wow.
in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in the mid 80s, when you talk about reclaimed wood, it's quite unacceptable. I even have clients who um, ask me a question like, "Do you think there will be spirits in the old wood, the old planks that you use?" So, yeah,
Mhm. Right.
it was tough back then, but we did very well back in 2020 when we branched into London. Then
Mm.
the whole reclaim wood thing just flew out of the window. So yeah, the journey has been quite exciting. A lot of changes, and currently with the COVID-19, we are seeing yet another wave of change that
Right.
in the last 5 weeks allows our team to reflect a lot of um, other strategies and
Sure.
how to redesign the whole business.
Yeah. So how do you get started in home styling? Has home styling been part of your business since 25 years, or like is it
Okay,
only after you?
before I start this business, I was 3 years with Herman Miller. Back then, it was Herman Miller Singapore before they closed down.
Wow.
Yeah. But I was the space planner, so it's kind of boring doing the same thing, just packing in as many workstations as possible in office space. So I was then in my 20s, was wondering what to do. So home styling has always been uh, my passion. I, it's like I like colors. I like to do up homes. So in my first 10 years of our marriage, we moved 5 times because I
Mm-hmm.
get bored of my place after a while. So
Mm.
I kind of knew that's what I want to do, but never knew that I could do home staging as a career. Because back in the 80s, home staging, this word was not even popular.
It's
Right.
almost unheard of, right?
Yeah.
The concept of home staging and yeah.
Yeah. So it was very popular in UK. So that's how we started home
Yeah.
staging. When we first introduced to homeowners, it was a very novel thing.
And
They have
which year
not heard of.
was that the which was the year that you started introducing this to homeowners?
I first introduced this to Far East organization
Okay.
because they do have specific team of people that will do their show flags for
Right.
sale, but they
Mm.
have no one to do their corporate leasing.
I see.
So home staging with Far East organization has gone back maybe 18 years.
Okay.
We currently
Wow.
still do that for them.
Okay. So that was about year 2002.
Mm.
Right. So I did some research, and actually home staging was like started in like the 1970s, and it was actually by this lady who also happened to be a real estate consultant, and having design background, she went on to populate this idea of home staging in the western part of the world, and that's how it got into the entire market. So, in your perspective, I mean, looking at today's market, why do you think like home staging is really important? I mean, when especially when it comes to selling a property.
First impression is very important because that's how I buy homes too. And I have such keen eyes for many details in a home that may not be similar to other homeowners. Many people bought from gut feel, from investigating the property. But for me, it's just a visual. I'm very visual. If it's not appealing, I don't want it, no matter how good an investment it is.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
when it comes to even food, if it is not pretty, I don't want to eat it. Yeah.
Right. How about you, Beatrice? Do you think?
Yeah, I can totally relate with that. Like, it's the feel good thing, you know, like when you step into a place, you wanna feel good, and like, yeah, the first impressions really count lah. Yeah.
All right.
The
So
feeling that you get. Yeah.
you know, I was just reading the other day, and it was said that actually when a buyer walks into a property, the first 8 seconds they already subconsciously decided whether do they feel good about a place or not. So it's just like in a snap second, 8 seconds is all it takes, you know, to impress a buyer. And but you know, sometimes some people will say that, hey, it's basically the property. It's not really like the furnitures. They're not buying the carpet. They're not buying they're not buying the cushions, and they're not buying the standing lamps, and all these were taken away when the place is sold. So why put them there in the first place? So what do you think, Felicia?
To me, first impression is very important.
Right.
It is a psychological thing that translates from visual to the brain. And then for you to logically decide, you do need the factor of a high degree that impress you. Otherwise, it's so forgettable. And when you are viewing houses to own, to buy, or to rent, your memory can only take so much in, and the most memorable unit gets remembered.
Right. Right. Yeah, and we always share with our clients that, you know, the first impression theory is very important, because it's just like if you're going on a date, you're going on a date with someone, and if the first date is not good because of the impression, the second date do not come, right? So sometimes when the property
you
is good,
sometimes may not get a second chance to make that impression.
yeah. So sometimes when it comes to property, if there are a lot of good things about the property, if let's say there are a lot of good pointers, a lot of plus points, but if the first impression really turns off the buyer, it doesn't give a second chance for the buyer to understand more things about the property. So we definitely agree that, you know, first impression is ultimately important. And of course, Beatrice, what do you think? Like, you know, we always say that human beings, we depend primarily on all our five senses, right? So how do our five senses come into play when it comes to like home staging and stuff?
I think like that analogy, like you said, about first impressions, about the first date and all, I think people are just mainly attracted based on what they see initially, and only after that, then if it attracts them enough, and then it will make them want to find out more lah, right? Or it will make them want to, like in our case, like stay longer in the home, you know, feel comfortable in the home. So it's yeah, I think all senses play a part lah. Yeah.
Like feel, touch, smell, right? And
Yeah.
last time when I was studying neuro linguistic programming, it's like we learn about the VAK thingy, where human beings depend a lot on visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, and like visual is probably about 70% of how we make decisions. And so when we walk into a property, sometimes when you see the same property side by side, you see an empty home, vis-a-vis the next door property, which is the exact same size and everything, same view, but it's all fully home stage. Naturally, the positioning will be different for that particular property itself. So Felicia, like, what were some of the key projects that you have done, like in the past 3 years, when it comes to home staging?
Past 3 years. Past 3 years, we've done 3 ambassadors home.
All right. Are they like leasing? Mainly leasing?
Both. There's a mixture of.
Okay.
But for embassies, the outright purchase.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But the main bulk of our business come from expats who have corporate account with us. People like working with IBM, Shell Petroleum, ExxonMobil. Yeah. So when they have this whole team of assignees that will be stationed here for a project for 2 to 4 years, they will not buy. So they prefer a unit that's fully furnished. They will not consider service apartment because every unit looks the same. And for shorter term, like 3 to 6 months, they might consider service apartments. But for expats who have families who will be staying here for 2 to 4 years, they prefer to choose the furniture that is for them. Some who are more adventurous might try very tropical interior that they would otherwise not have a chance to try when they are in Europe. So
Right.
it has been a very exciting journey to furnish every home differently according to their preference and needs.
Right. All right. Beatrice, I saw that you have like a whole list of questions that you're sending down to your husband. Yeah, why don't you kick off with some questions, please?
So Felicia, like, what is like usually your signature aesthetic? Like, is reclaimed wood like your first love? Like, has it always been
Yes, I've
about
always
wood?
liked natural materials.
Yeah.
So I grew up with the basic furniture of the China made furniture back in the 60s, 70s. It's either chrome or chrome with glass, and then it's black lacquered, the shiny glossy ones that you could use as a mirror. So
Yeah.
I grew up with such kind of furniture, and I remember my grandparents' home has teak wood wardrobe, teak wood dressing table, with the almost Peranakan carving and the oven there.
Yeah.
It's very nostalgia, and it's always been my love for such wood. Then 3 years in Herman Miller, it's nothing but steel, metal, heavy duty polyester fabric. So when I have a chance to, because my husband was saying you work so hard and such long hours for someone else, why don't you do something you love? So he is still my boss. He owns the company. He does all the profit and loss thing, and all I need to do is to focus on the
Creative.
yeah. So that's how it all started. Is I went to Indonesia and saw all the beautiful timber logs and aged wood, and there's such charm in the aged patina of wood. So how it all started was my husband thought I was crazy. I recycled old houses floorboards with all its flaws and scratches and polish it. And yeah, it was against his wishes, but I say, hey ho, you let me try, then let me try what I like to do. And he thought it was crazy. He says, who will buy such old things, like they pay good money to buy all these old things. Back in the early 90s, a lot of our times are expensive because local people
So,
don't
if
really
to interrupt you a little bit, do you have like a earpiece or something? Maybe you can put it on because we are hearing a bit of like audio intermittent here. Maybe you have like, yeah, probably can you put the mic closer a little bit? Yeah, just hearing a bit more feedback on your end.
Yeah, just now without the earpiece, I hear echo. So, but now with the earpiece, it's better.
All right, Cephas, are you able to hear? Like, is there a lot of intermittent in the background?
It's still bearable.
Ken, is it okay? All right, okay. Ken,
Thanks.
yeah, let's continue. Okay. Yeah, so you're saying like at that time about your wood,
Yeah, the recycled wood back in the 90s was not popular at all.
mm,
It is, but it's catching up now, and I'm glad that the well-traveled young professionals in Singapore
mm,
now, they
yeah,
appreciate
sure.
the look and feel of old wood.
Yeah. Right. So we coming back to the idea of home styling, right? So like in recent years, have you seen increased demand of clientele approaching your firm, asking about quotations on home styling needs and stuff like that when they want to sell their place?
Well, the developers have always worked with us. They give
Mm,
us usually a few types to furnish. They
okay.
grant us exclusivity to market it fully furnished.
Okay.
Then
So mainly
for
the back.
individual owners, we don't get individual owners. It's usually through realtors who couldn't market the unit for an extended period of time. That's
Mm,
when to us for help.
I
Some
see.
of the units that has terrible facing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like over 2 years now couldn't sell. So
Right.
those are the units that we've been approached to.
I
And it
see.
has shown good results.
I see. So your clientele pool comes from developers as well as realtors as well, approaching you
Yeah.
to stay at the empty house. So you know, like last time when we started real estate 14 years back, right? The a lot of the seniors they all like say that empty houses are the easiest to sell, right? And that was like in the early 2000s,
Mhm.
and people just want to sell empty homes. They say it's easy
Well,
to
I
get a
do agree to a certain extent.
mm,
From my husband's point of view, when he buy for investment, he
mm,
doesn't need to see
right,
that it's been furnished.
right.
So home staging are usually for people who wants to. It's actually the wives.
Okay.
Wives who needs to see that that's how it look like. Husband, they have very little concern about details. I think it's a man thing. Do you agree?
Not really. Not really.
I think the emulsion paint on one of the big wall, and my husband didn't notice when he came back from his travel, like from his business travel.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it also speaks together with how the market moves because in the past before 2014 there was like very little cooling measures. So you know a lot of people were on the market buying properties for rental, for investment and stuff. And so we look purely by numbers. We look at rental yield and stuff. We look at the potential, and at that era, because I think there were also lesser launches, there were also lesser supply in the resale market. So, in terms of demand, it is sort of like slightly higher than supply. So it's easy to get even rental demand as well, like from tenants, and when you want to exit is also faster. So I think it moves in line with the demand and supply chain. And of course, in recent years, we noticed that most buyers are buying for own stay. And so when it comes to buying for own stay, the emotional side will kick in, because when we buy properties for stay, we want to visualize ourselves living in it. So I think that the feeling part really will kick in. How about Beatrice? What do you think? What do you think about, let's say if you were to buy a property for yourself and then you walk into an empty space, do you feel very daunting? Like, what is your feel?
Yeah, I think because with empty spaces, I think the problem with empty spaces is the lack of visualization.
Mm,
You can't visualize the possibilities. Like Felicia mentioned, like you like wives like the being able to see what they can do with the space, where they can put stuff, like how they can put the sofa in the living room, or how they can just it's just having an empty space. I think closes off people's minds in what they can imagine the space to be and how they can imagine themselves living in it.
yeah.
Yeah, like
And,
what Felicia said. Yeah.
yeah, and I think there's this dilemma, right? Sometimes when you are the home seller, you would think like, my property is not really renovated. If let's say it's not a renovated place, and then you would think that anyway, the buyer, when they buy, they will renovate themselves, what, right? So why should I spend that money to spruce up the place with carpets, with the right furniture size and things like that, or linens? In any case, after they buy, they're going to renovate. But I think the main draw is that by doing it up with home styling, you actually open up your buyer audience, because you attract the buyer audience that wants to renovate and those that don't really want to renovate that much. So you essentially double up the pool, and that's how we see it. How about Felicia? What do you think? Like, what do you think are the key advantages to styling the place?
Well, mainly in our business over
Mm,
the last 2.5 decades, home staging predominantly are required by execs who wants the convenience. So
mm,
when we stage up the empty unit, first of all, it doesn't look like the developer's service apartment units. It has
mm,
individuality, and we don't furnish two homes the same. We usually do it quite differently, whether it's with a neutral color tone, cooler color, or warmer color. Overall, it's still very neutral, generally quite acceptable by the majorities. But for the expats who enjoy the convenience of just moving in with a suitcase uh, in a few days' time, and linen, everything is done. We generally do two. One is the full set that is on display, and a change set for them to use when they move in. I think the attention to details, once they are able to see a stitch up unit, they are able to tell us whether they need more surface area or
mm.
storage area, without which it's quite hard when you let someone just move in an empty unit, start to scramble to find furniture. It's a very daunting effort for
Mm.
experts because their main business is to start work, not to do up a home. And
That's
so,
their priority lah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so to uproot their whole family here, it will be very difficult for their wife, especially with children, to try to shop for furniture and to furnish it within 1 week. So I would say home staging for the majority of our clients is the factor of convenience. And because of our huge inventory, whatever we put in there, we usually put neutral, like the cream color couch. But for kids, they can request for like a navy blue, and then all we need to do is within a week to change the slip cover of the sofa. So we carry a 10,000 square feet of inventory.
Right.
And we also own our own woodwork factory in central Jakarta. So whatever we draw in our drawing board, it can be made.
So Felicia, for like say for homeowners who are a bit apprehensive about home staging and they want to spruce up their place, they want it to look they want it to look nicer, to look more inviting, but they don't want to do like a whole overhaul, like, what would be your like advice to these kind of homeowners? Like, are there certain like key elements you think that can really that they can focus on to kind of like change, that can really change the room or like make an impact? Is it possible to do styling that way?
Just from my point of view,
Yeah.
if the homeowner is apprehensive, like they're not convinced,
Yeah.
the best thing to do is to show them a sketch of the unit first. Forget
Right.
about trying to convince them to do a half-baked interior.
Right.
We wouldn't suggest that, because
Right.
when you just do a little, it doesn't give you the wow effect. It's better
Okay.
not to do it, because
Right.
you get blamed this or that way, because the
So
effect is not there.
I see. So it's, if you want to do it, go all the way, like commit 100% to it and not do a understand.
That will be my suggestion.
So do
Okay.
you work purely with like a whole new set of furnitures, or when it comes to, I mean, let's talk about selling. So when we're looking at home styling for homeowners to sell, what about the usage of their existing furniture? So what is the concept? Do you believe in extracting
Of course, if I can recycle most of the bigger pieces, I would try to. But I think first thing first, if we want to create an impactful interior to sell the unit, then if the existing inventory doesn't work, then don't force it. Don't try to make something work when you know it's not. I mean, our professionalism comes in. They hire us to 1 hour advance, so we would have shortchanged our client if we do not give them the brutal truth if the furniture looks quite bad, even though it's fine.
Right. Yeah. So is it right to say that 100% of the time usually you will extract all furnitures out, or what is the percentage of recycling back some of the usable furnitures?
Recently I've done a styling unit for an expert. Her couches are nice, except that she has placed it wrongly. So by adding wallpaper and changing her balcony landscape, changing an area, it changes quite a bit. So we paint the wall, we add colors. Her whole interior is basically white marble floor, grey couch, white wall, and a hideous ring light diver. So we kept her TV, we kept her furniture. We basically just changed the walls and the lighting. So it all depends. I must see it first.
Okay. Yeah, and talking about colors, I saw that Beatrice had some questions about colors, a lot about colors. Beatrice, what you want to ask about color?
So generally, like Felicia, what would you suggest for like, what is like the most popular kind of like palette that your customers want, or like what do you usually suggest to make a space more inviting?
Again, it's very individual. I need to do a preliminary discussion with the clients.
But you mentioned that developers usually like to keep things very neutral and clean. Like, is there a reason for that?
Because they want to appeal to a wider audience.
Right.
So for the wallpaper and more emotion in colors. For developers, they like to keep it to the neutral tones of off-white, champagne color, taupe.
Off-white champagne. All right.
So for
So
home sellers who want to stage up their home for selling purposes, you would suggest also to keep it neutral, to keep
neutral can be monochromatic. It doesn't need to have a lot of colors, but it still can have colors. But for
right.
clients are who like colors but are unsure, then you kind of need to hold their hand to push them and nudge them along to use colors like teal with gray,
Mm.
blue with brown. So you don't need to go all psychedelic colors. The louder colors like fuchsia pink, orange, turquoise can come in the form of accent colors and reds. It doesn't need to be or it can come from artwork. I realized a lot of local homeowners, they have very shallow knowledge of print artwork. They concentrate colors a lot on just the couch,
Right.
seats, and rugs. But in Singapore, it's too hot to use rugs. So colors can come from painted walls. I have also suggested to another client to paint their walls with stripes using masking tape, and it looks like butter.
Wow.
It's
Mm.
cool. And they did it themselves.
Did DI?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thanks. Yeah, I think probably we can have a little bit of Q&A as well. So are there any questions that you guys would like to ask? And if this is your first time joining us, this is our So Far So Good live at home series with PropertyLimBrothers. So I'm with Beatrice Lim, our co-host, and of course our special guest Felicia Koh, who has been an interior designer and home styling expert in her firm at Gallery278. So just pop by any questions right at the comment section down below for Facebook. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, if you're on Instagram and you're watching this live, you can head on to our YouTube channel to key in some of the questions as well. We'll answer a couple of questions before we let Felicia go. So, Cephas, do you have any questions coming in? Yeah, so Beatrice, meantime, what do you think, like, how do you think social media has changed the perspective, the perception of and the expectation whenever we look at houses today? Like, if let's say you are wearing the lenses of a buyer, you walk into a place, do you think social media, what we're seeing on our platforms every day, has somehow plucked so-called your perspective and expectation?
For sure, because I mean, now with social media, we have so many different avenues. It's no longer like when you look at houses, it's no longer like a 1D thing where it's just photos. I think like now we have all these technology where we can have 3D tours and we do like videos, like our video home tours. So I think like I think buyers are more spoiled now because they wanna actually see what the house is like, even without seeing it. Yeah, to get
Right.
to really qualify themselves if they're really interested in the unit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just reading up the other
Yeah.
day as well. There's this thing called the HGTV effect. So it's like, HGTV has been very popular for many years, and because of all the home shows, the before and after kind of shows whereby you see the whole renovation process and things like that, it somehow shapes our perspective and increases the amount of possibility in our mind that these are some of the really great stuff we can do when we buy a property. So I think it somehow increases the level of our expectation whenever we walk into a property, and when it comes to buying, our expectation increases. And so when we go to properties that are super cluttered and like super not tidy up, it just instantly have this bad impression built in. And sometimes I think having that very first door of entry to allow the buyer to stay longer is really important. And I think, yeah, I think that's so important when it comes to selling homes. Right. Okay, so I think we have a question. What question is that, Steph? So somebody is asking us whether we outsource externally the home staging, or is there an internal team that handles that? How much on average does it cost to stage your home for a listing? All right, good question. Okay, we work with our partners whenever it comes to home staging, because these are companies that specializes a lot, having their own inventory. And a lot of our partners, if you were to go to their office, is like the amount of inventory is like, wow. It's like there are so many different sets of furniture that is ready. And I think the evolvement in Singapore for home staging businesses is that most of them has evolved from leasing companies, and the leasing culture for expatriates coming to Singapore. They lease furniture for 12 to 24 months. And then in the past couple of years, when home staging starts to take more popularity, I think a lot of furniture leasing companies, they start to branch out with an arm for home staging. So we do work with a lot of our partners on home staging. But what we do here is that we like to be very, very involved. We usually want to be there. We want to see like what kind of colors, what kind of furniture taste is suitable for that particular property, or even the size of like the couch and the dining table and stuff like that. Internal team, yes, some of the projects we do them internally. And the main reason is because we do not, if there are particular properties that we think that um, the existing furnitures are great, so what we want to do is that we do them internally, and then we spruce up the place, rather than having the entire process of extracting and then coming in with brand new stuff. How much on average really depends on the size of the property, because it also depends on the number of bedrooms, the size of the living room. So it ranges to a big extent, right? And I think probably for pricing, Felicia would be the best to answer. So Felicia, how do you have like a standardized price list, or is it like a bespoke basis?
For some of the units we've done recently, it ranges from uh, two-bedroom with a balcony at the W. It costs about 3,500 to stage up for the first month, and then
Okay.
when it is not taken, then the second month the rental is half,
Mm.
and then it continues to the third month. We generally focus for smaller units about 3 months, and
Mm.
for larger unit about 6 months.
Right.
But those
So
are for higher value location. For
okay.
the W, even though it's a two-bedroom, it's valued at about nearly $2.5 million.
Mm.
So for the owner, the investment quantum seems viable.
Mm.
For the unit, we have done it quite unconventionally. We have used the living dining room as the living room, so it looks big, and we
Mm.
use the balcony as the dining room. Because for a two-bedroom clientele, they rarely cook, but they stay home and they use their living room quite a bit. So it kind of opened up. So thankfully, it didn't last for more than a month or two
Mm.
within the first month.
I
So
see.
the owner doesn't need to come up with a second month yet.
I see. So you mentioned for that particular property, the first month is about 3.5, second month is
Three
about half.
five. Yeah.
Okay. Right. And then it goes on from there. All right. Beatrice, do you have any other questions for Felicia before we let her go?
Felicia, so do you offer an option where you just do like accessory styling, like accessory staging without the furniture, just to spruce up the place, or usually you just offer the all-in package?
For our in-house home stylist,
Yeah.
not myself, but home stylist, they charge per hour quite differently than me as a principal designer. So for just decoration work,
Yeah.
in fact, we know a few experts who freelance here, and they are able to do home styling for $100 per hour.
Okay.
So they will just come and engage your home and then give you a budget as to how much accessories. It ranges from about 1,500 to 1,800 for
Right.
accessories. So they will just go and procure and yeah, do all the placement.
I see.
So
Okay.
that's kind of affordable if all you need is to decorate because it looks quite cold, but you have your makeup
Yeah.
furniture. Yes. So there are a few of them that are already helping us with such work.
So that's an option as well, lah.
Yes.
Great. Great. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Felicia, for
Thank you.
coming
It's
for our
been
show. Thank you
fun.
for answering our questions regarding your home styling. Really appreciate your time. And yeah, I hope that you stay safe during this period. And yeah, thank you. We'll keep in touch. Do you have any final maybe just give our audience some information about where Gallery278 is located, and if you want to drop by.
We are at a shop house. We own a shop house. It's a
Mm,
4-story um, old shop house on River Valley Road, just diagonally from Mohammed Sultan Road.
okay. Right, diagonally from Muhammad Sultan. Okay, great. So
Yeah.
we'll drop the link right in our description box below. So if you want to understand a little bit more about some of the services that Gallery278 provides, when it comes to leasing of furniture, or it comes to home styling, when you want to sell your place, you can click on the link below. Get in touch with Gallery278. Get in touch with Felicia as well. So thank you, Felicia, once again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for your
Thanks,
time.
Alicia.
Bye.
All right, bye. All right, Beatrice. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what do you think of the chat with Felicia?
I think it was interesting where she said like when in the 80s or when she first started, like home staging was unheard of,
Mm,
and it was kind of like a process where people started to accept home staging as and see the necessity and the need for it, lah. Because I think a lot of people's mindset is they'll think, oh, do I really need it? Is it really necessary?
mm,
Does it really make a difference?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So, I mean, even for ourselves, when we started in real estate, there was is like totally unheard of. The only place in the year, I think between 2006 all the way to like probably about 2017 or 2016, you
Mm.
usually only see developers doing up their show flats with renovation plus home staging. And
Yeah.
for properties in the resale market, it is like totally unheard of. So it was, I think it was only since 2 years back that this idea penetrated the resale market. So
Mm.
like personally, for I mean, for our PRB properties, right? When you see the before and after, what do you feel?
Yeah, actually, you wouldn't believe it, but it really makes a huge difference. Like sometimes when we show clients, like when we tell them how we sold a particular unit, and then we show them the before photo, like this is what it looked like. It had red walls and it had very dark furniture, and then how we from there we painted the entire place white. We even painted the cabinets white, and there's
Mm,
a stark difference.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I think that stark difference is really because it's also the psychology. It's the psychology
Mm.
that if let's say I'm a homeowner, if I have decided that I want to go for it, I want to start out my place.
Yeah.
The home styling not just includes the furniture placement, not just includes the furniture choice.
Yeah.
It also includes the process before that, which is like decluttering,
Yeah.
also like touching up of paintwork, making sure that we restore as much as we can the potential of the place. Just like how when we first step into the property as the buyer
Yeah.
last time, and
Yeah.
rethink back what were some of the reasons that made you fell in love with that property. So coming back to that first impression thinking, right? Like, how important do you think really that is? I mean, although Felicia shared a couple of great tips with us, but how about yourself? Like any other?
I think like impression. I think impression really counts lah. Even as a buyer for a viewing experience, like when I've conducted viewings where the buyers come in and they go like, "Wow, is this furniture? Are the owners still living here?" You know, it feels like a home. They feel like, "Oh, you mean the owners are still living here?" And then we tell them, "Oh no, actually the owners have already moved out. They've already vacated." And then they go like, "Oh, but the house is so nice. You know, these furniture, is it theirs? Like, does the furniture come with the house? Can we buy it?" So they are impressed. They are impressed, and then we tell them, "Oh, actually, no, this furniture is actually staged. We put it in to give you a better idea and visualization of the space." And then they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. It feels like a show flat." So it's that impression lah when buyers come to view a house, and that I think makes for a better impression lah overall.
And you know, I think sometimes it's really like, because sometimes clients do ask us like, end of the day, is it worth it? Is it worth it to spend the amount of money? I mean, let's say like per month is an additional like $2,000 or like $3,000 for staging out a place, and then when it comes to 3 months, is it all worth it? And is it like a guarantee as well that definitely the place can be sold? So I think these are very real questions, and I think end of the day is really that when you increase the chances of packaging the place, and it's not just packaging, because when you do it up in the sense that the full value and the full potential can be shown, you naturally attract more eyeballs, and when there's more eyeballs, more people come to view the place, and when more people come to view the place, the chances of them staying and viewing and enjoying the property increases as well, because it's like so well done, and naturally you're gonna have like chances for more offers, and the speed of selling also increase. Talking about like packaging, Beatrice, is it okay to tell people that about your the other business that you run?
All right. Yeah. Sure. We can talk about that.
Beatrice is an entrepreneur. She actually runs a cupcake business as well. She makes really good cupcakes. So like, and her packaging for her cupcakes are really great. So talk a little bit about packaging of cupcakes versus packaging of the property when it comes to selling.
I mean, the same principles apply, you know, like when you have a product and, you know, you want people to not just enjoy the product, like say if you know, like people like cupcakes, but I think how they receive it also plays a part. When they receive so when they receive a nice box, or like in my case we have pink boxes, it has become sort of like a signature. When people see pink, you know, they know like, oh, okay, like, you know, cupcakes from Lamb, so I think it definitely, packaging really plays a part lah.
Yes, how to do free promotion, right, for your cupcake selling properties, right? And yes, it's exactly the same. And I think when it comes to selling properties, it's really like restoring and ensuring that through this restoration process where we do home staging, we don't put to chance, like, you know, when I'm a buyer, I walk in and then I see like, hey, why is it like there are a lot of toys on the floor, a lot of clutter here, and it sort of increases the chance that I cannot see the full potential, I cannot enjoy the space. But sometimes just like an oversized couch will then make the living room feel very small, or maybe like an oversized dining table. So I personally think that packaging, marketing is just so important as well. So Beatrice, like the fact that we see our five senses, see, feel, touch, hear, smell, how important to you do you think like these five senses are when it comes to a buyer's point of view. I mean, based on what you have seen since you have joined us, like, what do you think? Like, based on how buyers usually view a property, like, what kind of five senses are invoked during this period, during the process?
I think all I
Mm.
think it's sensory overload, right? Like when they first step into the place, the first thing they see, uh, and then like Felicia mentioned just now, it translates into feeling good about a space. So when you like what you see, then you feel like you want to be in that space lah. Yeah, and it feels inviting. There was one funny story. I think we had a unit that was staged for quite some
Mm.
time, and
Mm.
then the staging furniture was removed. So when
Yeah.
we conducted the viewing, it was an empty house.
Yeah.
So when the buyers came in, and then they were like, "Oh, is this a haunted this place is haunted, is it?" Or
Mm.
like, and then we had to explain to them, "Oh, no, it's actually." Then I showed them photos of, "Oh, this is actually what it looked like just maybe a few days ago. We actually just had the staging furniture removed."
Right.
And their remark was, "Wow, it feels so different. Like, it looks so different, it feels so different."
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's testament to the power of right staging lah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Mm.
report I read was actually from Canada, where they said that they did like a cross survey, and people that walk into an empty place versus people that walk into a place with furnitures, the feeling is really daunting, and it's like you're putting the buyers in a position that they have to invoke their energy to go and visualize themselves.
Mm.
And I think the HGTV effect plus social media effect along the years also made us increase our expectation, in the sense that, let's say if I'm a buyer, I go on a weekend, I
Mm.
look at 8, 10 properties,
Mm.
and out of the 8 to 10 properties, there's like these two properties that really impresses me with the way that they do up, and the rest of the 6 properties are like totally empty. It's going to allow me to waste more of my brain energy to try and visualize, hey, where should I put this, where should I put that, and stuff like that. So I think it also sends an impression that if I were to buy this property, there's still going to be a lot of work that I need to do. So I
Yep.
don't have the sense that I'm buying a ready product and like buying something that's 50% and stuff.
Right.
So
Mm.
yeah. And what do you think about colors? Just now you asked about colors, right? And what do
Mm.
you think is the best color for bed sheets when it comes to staging up the room, the
So
linen?
yeah, usually we usually advise our owners to keep things as neutral and simple as possible, like what Felicia mentioned. Um, to keep it palatable for a wider audience, lah, like she said. So, and taste is very subjective. Um, Usually when we appreciate all our owners' unique taste.
Mhm.
But we are also, like you said, we are huge advocates of decluttering and making sure that the place is viewed in the best possible light lah. And
Yeah,
sometimes it means keeping things as neutral as possible. So like white bed sheets, usually we will put on to take photos. We'll put on like white bed sheets to have that hotel feel.
yeah. The
Yeah,
staycation.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
because in this era, we went for too much staycation that every time when we go to a hotel, remember that the bed sheets are white. So if
Mm.
you see a property with white bed sheets, it naturally invokes a relaxing kind of. And have you heard of the Gavin's white bed sheet story?
No, what happened?
So we were preparing for our shoot, right? And then Gavin was there preparing the home and stuff. And then before I went, I asked Gavin to send me all the photographs and stuff like that to have a quick look. And then when I saw the color of the bedsheet, I said, "Bro, you really have to go to buy the bedsheet now." So then he was like, "Okay, boss, I'll go and buy now." So he immediately went to buy 2 sets of bed sheets on the spot. Then he was like rushing back, sweating and stuff like that. That was the white sheet story. And what do you think about family photographs?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. Like we've done a few home tours,
Yeah.
that there's a lot of family photographs on the wall, wedding photos, wedding montage on the wall, or like kids photographs. And some owners don't mind. Like some owners, they feel like, oh, okay lah, I don't mind lah, I don't mind showing. But usually we advise. I mean, if they don't want to remove them, we will usually kind of black it out. Not really black it out, but kind of like blur it out to protect their privacy. Yeah.
But actually, what do you think? Like, should the family photographs be there? I mean, because there are two schools of thoughts. Some people say that by having family photographs, you increase the sense that the warmth of the home, because the buyer can feel that, our family stays here. It looks very heartwarming. It feels very heartwarming. But the other school of thought is that we should make the property as neutral and as much as you can to reduce the emotional attachment of the previous owner, right? So the other school of thought is that any family photographs, please remove and then replace with very neutral artwork and stuff like that. So what do you think? What's your personal view? I mean, I think this two school of thought has no right or wrong. It's just like a matter of preference. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like you said, is a matter of preference, law. With family photos, like it can kind of instill that kind of very like this place is a home. It's not just a house. This was somebody's home, and it can create that kind of like, it's a very heartwarming place, like you said. But usually, like we will advise to kind of neutralize it as much as possible, even for viewings and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any final tips for our audience when it comes to home staging? Beatrice, you got anything? although the expert has left. Yeah.
I think personally, I'm a believer lah. I think after seeing also many before and afters, and the impact it's had, and the speed at which we have sold some properties, once we've put in staging, or once we've spruced up the place and done decluttering, I think I'm definitely a believer lah. If you're gonna do it, go all in, man. Like, do it.
And you have the line that the moment if you want to put out your property for sale, the property instantly becomes your product, and it's very important to make sure that your product don't stay on the shelf too long, and really use that impression to attract the right buyer to appreciate the product itself. So do head on to our YouTube channel. We have this playlist whereby we showcase all the properties that has been staged up. We also have a special playlist called the How We Sold series, whereby we share the before and after. You get to see some of the old photographs and the new photographs. And actually, sometimes people say that, hey, is it because the property naturally cannot sell, and after you all have done like home staging, the impression changes, that's why the property can sell? But actually, sometimes it is a combination of effects. Sometimes it's not that the property cannot sell, it's just that because it was not done up visually online, when the advertising was done, is not pleasing to the eye. That's why it doesn't attract enough eyeballs. So by doing home staging, it actually invokes a combination of factors that it is then easier to do advertising, it's easier to do marketing. A lot of possibilities increase instantly. So do head on to our YouTube channel if you want to understand a little bit more about home staging. And we hope that you enjoy this session with us, my co-host Beatrice Lim, our listing specialist with PLB team, and also our special guest Felicia Koh. So my name is Melvin Lim from the PLB team. Thank you for tuning in live with us. We will be back next Saturday at 12 p.m. as well with a very special guest. And on the 30th of May, we are interviewing the co-founder of Canvas, the platform where a lot of interior design tips are on the platform with lots of great articles. So if you have not seen Canvas, do head on to their website, and we'll be interviewing the co-founder, Daniel. And all right, so we hope that everybody have a good weekend ahead, and stay safe,
guys.
All right, take care, bye.
Bye.